Let me tell you our story of 5 Rotarians plus 5 new friends who traveled to Tegucigalpa, Honduras in June 2024. We all volunteered with Chispa Project to install a primary school library in the inner city. Here are the cast of characters after we arrived at the Comiagua International Airport. We were transported from there to our accommodation at Villa de Gracia, outside Tegucigalpa. After a short rest, we were briefed on our week's schedule and put to work preparing supplies for student activities. The next morning, we were enthusiastically greeted by the students as we arrived at their school. After formal photos, we were introduced to the room that would become the new library. We were kept busy the first day, assembling and painting bookcases. Tracing and painting murals in classrooms. And painting the library walls. That evening, we were back to work on supplies for student activities. The next morning, painting continued in the library and classrooms. Signage was received and installed in the library. We had time at lunch for a special birthday celebration. In the afternoon, finishing touches were done to all the classroom paintings, and photos were taken of the students and their classroom murals. Tuesday evening, we had a birthday dinner and a special celebration with Lisa. As soon as dinner was finished, we had a lot of work to do. 1,300 books had to each be assigned an individual number and cataloged for the library before we could go to bed. The next morning, all the books had to be shown to the library committee. Each book was checked off to prove that they had received their inventory list of books. The books were shelved by volunteers. Backpacks were stuffed with school supplies and packaged ready for each class of students. After a very busy morning, we took a final photo in the library and proceeded to a wonderful lunch outdoors. Wednesday afternoon, we were given a special presentation by a chocolatier who explained how he takes the chocolate fruit he grows through the process to create chocolates. Thursday morning was the big library inauguration day. The library was all set up and ready to go. We started with a formal ceremony that included the national anthem. Student presentations, a speech from the student class president, thank you certificates to the student library committee, and many others. All the volunteers were given thank you cards. Before, there was a formal ribbon cutting ceremony at the library door. In each classroom, the students were given their backpacks with school supplies. Students were introduced to their new books and activities that related to each book, including science experiments, storytelling, puppet making, reading about penguins, and cutting snowflakes. Each class got to visit their new library, where a puppet gave them lessons on how to care for their new books. Then they were allowed to select and read books for the first time. After our exhausting day at the school, we were given lessons on how to make tortillas and the night off. Friday morning, classes were canceled. We visited the inner city market and a park just above the school that had beautiful views of Tegucigalpa. In the afternoon, we repeated the student library activities with the afternoon students. Saturday, we drove 2 hours through the countryside to a small scenic town called Cantaranas. We walked around the town admiring the many murals and had another photo op. The main purpose of our visit to the town was to see the school library our Canadian Rotary clubs had previously funded at the primary school. We drove from Cantaranas to a town called Valley of Angels, where we enjoyed a traditional lunch of pupusas. After lunch, we had time to view the town's artisan shops, visit the coffee roasting company, and get caught in a short torrential downpour. Back in Tegucigalpa, we visited the modern basilica built for Pope John Paul II's visit in 1983. Our trip culminated with an amazing 8-course Honduran dinner hosted by the university culinary students. Sunday, we gathered for a final photo before saying our goodbyes to everyone.